Hello, and welcome to ASMR Ghost Stories. Today I want to tell you a personal story and comment below what you think it might be, because over the years it's freaked me out because I just don't know what it is. I believe in ghost, the paranormal, whatever you want to call it. I do believe that there's some things out there we just don't understand, and it's always fascinated me. I have my own personal ghost story of the house that I grew up in one of my first videos, so you have to kind of scroll on back. And so from the very, very young age, I experienced a lot of things that you just can't understand or answer, because you're like, what was that? Did I see something? Did I hear something? So, a few years ago, more like 20 years ago, my sister, who lives in South Florida, was living in a home, and her family bought another home and they were going to rent the previous home out. It sat vacant for almost a year. They just had no leads whatsoever. And then they asked my husband and I, because we had just gotten married, if we wanted to move into that house. I'm like, I'm a few states away. I'm like, what do I know about South Florida? I was like, my husband's not going to want to go there. He's from here. His family's here. He's not going to go. My sister's like, hey, you want to move to Florida? He's like, yeah, that sounds like fun. Well, we did move to Florida. We were there about 2 or 3 years and realized this isn't home, so we came back. A little backstory about my sister and I. We are 11 months apart. We call ourselves the Irish twins because we're extremely close. It's odd how a lot of times, because we'll FaceTime, we're wearing similar clothing, or we're eating something similar at the same time, or I'll be thinking something and then she'll call up and be like, I was thinking about the same thing I was thinking of. Like about 2 weeks ago, I was just all of a sudden just kind of looking out the window. I was like, I need to travel somewhere. Where can I go? And not even 5 seconds later, she FaceTimes and she came up. She goes, I need to go somewhere. Should I come up and travel and see you? I'm like, yes. Anytime. We talk all the time. We're extremely close. So, also another backstory on this house that we're going to move into. The next door neighbor is a retired evangelical pastor, I think is what you would call it. Very energetic. I love his personality. He'd be one of those very energetic pastors in the pulpit. And he told, because I don't think my sister had any issues when she lived in the house that I know of, because I only lived in the house almost 2 years when we were down there. But the pastor said the family before my sister moved in, or maybe even a little bit before that, the teenage daughter was into Ouija boards and the occult, Wicca, stuff like that. I don't know much about Wicca, but I do know that I don't mess with Ouija boards. I've done that in the past and super scary, so I was like, I'm not going to do that anymore. And as far as I know, I think she unalived herself in the house as when she was a teenager. That was the story that was told. Like, he didn't go into great detail other than she was just like, you could see everything changing about her. So when I lived in the house, weird things would happen. It was, the house itself was like, your typical Florida home. It was like ranch style stucco. And it was just my husband and I and 2 dogs. So it was a 4-bedroom home, but we didn't use the back bedrooms other than a guest bedroom. But one bedroom, I had to close the door because when we didn't use it, it always had like a smell. It was dark, dingy, and I was like, I don't feel safe. So here's a few of the stories that kind of freaked me out a little bit. Like my sister, at this time, she lived about 2 or 3 miles from me. And she called one day, and because she's very, very sensitive, like she sees and hears things, and she tries not to because it freaks her out. So I cannot remember how the conversation was going, but I said, there's a girl across the street pacing back and forth, very dirty, very, her hair was stringy, and just no shoes, just very dirty and biting her nails, and just walking back and forth and looking, and like I said, I think she's growling, and I was like, I don't know what she's doing. And my sister came over. I stayed in the house. She came over. She went over to the pastor's house to ask him, and I can't remember if he was there or if he wasn't, but when she was coming back around to the driver's side of her door, the girl rushed her and said, "Get out!" But she disappeared. Like she wasn't there. And my sister, like freaked out, like what was that? So what we were seeing was someone not there. I don't know. Another incident, I was standing in the kitchen and I had just let my dogs out, so I was kind of at the sliding glass door and like near the kitchen corner, and I hear and I turn around and that stringy dirty girl was at the corner like this going and then she was gone. I was like, I'm out of here. I couldn't stand that house. And during the day it seemed to be okay, and that was during the day, so I was like, my mind's playing tricks on me. But those are 2 things that I saw. And then the third thing was, I was in bed at night, my husband and I were sleeping, and all of a sudden the corner of my bed crashed down to the floor and woke us both up. We're like, what in the world? The next day my sister called me and said, I had a really bad dream about you last night. And I was like, well, what was it? She goes, it was a girl, that dirty girl, doing like a stomach crawl, and she slithered under our bed and was under our bed. And I was like, my bed broke last night. The corner of it just, all of a sudden there wasn't anything to provoke the bed to break, but it broke. And I was like, okay, that's it. And it was one of those things where I realized I couldn't stay in the house. I'm not sure if my husband really ever felt anything. And my sister, who's very sensitive, her son, when he was younger, extremely sensitive. He would know people's names before, like he'd be 2 years old, know their names before they ever said it. Or he would look up in the trees and say there were angels in the trees and shining, and I don't know. It was interesting, but those were the 3 instances I had in my house. Now, I don't tell the story much because it's just one that even I don't understand it. And I wonder, is it all in my mind's eye? Am I freaking myself out? But the fact that my sister saw the same girl rush her like around the car saying, "Get out," and then she was not there. And then the was seeing in the dream slithering under my bed, and then my bed broke. So out of those 3 instances, now I've also taken pictures like right before we moved. I took pictures where I'd hold down, it was where it would shutter. I don't know what it's called. It's a Canon camera, just hold it down. And because I took a lot of pictures of my dogs. This is before I had a child. And then I took a lot of pictures of him. So there in the picture there were orbs, and I know that there's humidity. I know what humidity looks like in pictures. It looks like almost like tons of round orbs, but this was one that was moving, and it was that quick, and my dog was running, and so I was taking a picture because I had everything boxed up. We were moving in like a day or so, so I had gone around the house to take all kinds of pictures, but my dog was running, so I was like, and so I go back to look at the pictures, and there were some orbs that were like over here, big. So I was like, I don't know. What are your thoughts? What could it have been? So again, we found out that there was a girl in her house that was into the occult, Ouija boards, which I find to be very evil. And as far as I know, she unalived herself. That's the story. I don't know any other history. Seeing her, like I'm on the phone with my sister saying there's a girl pacing on across the street. Oh, when we did tell the pastor about the girl pacing, he said she can't come to the property because she's uninvited, or the house is blessed, or the portal is closed, something like that. But I was like, but she was in my house, I know, 2 times, which really freaked me out. I was like, I can't stay in this house. And I've lived in a haunted house before now, and even in this house where I am now, I don't have anything bad at all, but there are things. I think it's because there's things we can't see and all around us. So, thoughts? Have you ever experienced anything like that? I just wonder, was it like a demon? Was it a witch? A ghost? What was it? And the fact that it was happening to 2 people, and I wouldn't have known about her dream, and she didn't know about my bed breaking. I was just like, well, I guess gotta replace the bed frame. And the fact that she called up, she's like, oh, I had a dream. I was like, okay, because she does have dreams. But the fact that girl was slithering and got under her bed, I was like, I'm out, I'm done, I've had enough of this house. So we ended up moving to an apartment and realizing, I'm a Southern girl. I'm Tennessee Southern. I love Florida. I think it's beautiful, but I've never felt at home. So I was like, I'm going back home to Tennessee. But anyway, thoughts, just putting it out there. So I know not everybody believes, or they may think, oh, it's your imagination, or it's this or that. Exactly. I have no idea. I just know that it happened. So thank you all for watching. Hit the subscribe button and the like button if you liked it. Comment below. Seriously, I'm curious as to what you think it might have been, or so until next time, stay just a little scared. Bye.